When the boy hit the wall at home, hundreds of corpses fell out. It was already terrifying enough, but what was even more chilling was that this terrifying story was adapted from The Haunting in Connecticut because the boy Jack suffered from cancer. His parents sold their houses in the city for nearby treatment. Hence, they moved to a big villa in the suburbs instead. But the price is outrageously low. It's hard not to suspect anything fishy behind, but they have no choice but to stay. However, on the first night, when Jack got up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, he heard some moving in the basement. He went ahead to check it out. However, when he walked up to the mirror, a ghost suddenly appeared inside. Fortunately, it was just a nightmare. While his mother was cleaning the house, she discovered some photos left by the former homeowner. One by one, these looked like pictures of dead people. She was scared and quickly threw them away. But when his younger siblings also moved in, out of some unknown connection, Jack volunteered to sleep in the basement. There was a locked door in the basement, and even if someone saw through the window, he couldn't tell what's inside either. But when his mother was mopping the floor, Jack lowered his head and saw that the mop had pulled out a lot of blood. It was dazzling and terrifying. But when he saw again, there was nothing. Besides, when his mother led her daughter to see the room and opened the wardrobe, surprisingly, a human shadow appeared on the mirror. However, that didn't even notice it. Jack still couldn't sleep at night. He was full of curiosity about the locked door, and he attempted to open it. Out of his surprise, as soon as he touched the handle, he got blisters on his hand. What worse, all this was not a dream yet. He was really injured. Even the doctor couldn't explain why he was injured, and suspected that it was because he was left in a trance during his cancer treatment. However, it was just the beginning. When they prayed before dinner at night, Jack grabbed something with both hands. Another scene unexpectedly appeared in his mind, in which he saw himself transformed into a boy, surrounded by a group of people. They were holding hands together, but the boy was convulsing all over. It seemed like some kind of ceremony was going on, and Jack couldn't come back to his senses for a long time. He didn't wake up until his family shouted. Various visions filled him with doubts. When going to the hospital for treatment the next day, he told all these strange things to the pastor, who was also suffering from cancer. The pastor told him that the weaker a person was, the more they can see supernatural things. He also told Jack that if Jack needed help, just ask him for help. It was too scary. The basement of the boy's house was actually a morgue for stacking corpses. When the gate slammed shut, suddenly, piles of corpses stood in front of Jack. No one could withstand such situation. Jack was so scared that he reached out and pushed, but unexpectedly, what he pushed was his younger brother. What's worse, when he wanted to apologize to his brother, the room had changed its appearance. The boy appeared in his mind before unexpectedly reappeared. Jack followed the boy all the way, and he saw the boy was being dragged into the basement. When he pushed the door in to see what was happening, there was nothing inside. Jack was panicking, and he went to the pastor for help. The pastor told him that if he wanted to know why ghosts appeared, he must find out what he wanted to know from first. Hence at that night, Jack tried to call out the ghost. When he got up, a black ghost suddenly appeared. He asked what the ghost wanted to do, but the ghost just kept staring, coming and leaving quietly. Later, Jack played hide and seek with his younger brother and sister. The brother hiding in the lift was startled by the sudden appearance of a black shadow behind him, and because the floor suddenly broke, his sister hiding in the attic was caught in it and could not move. Because of this, they found a box. In addition to photos, there was also a box containing a bunch of pieces. In order to find out the truth, Jack told his sister about his experience, and through searching records, the sister also found this villa was a morgue in the past. It was managed by an old man. The boy Jack met was the old man's assistant and psychic, specializing in providing psychic services for customers. But when he once performed a sorcery, the old man and the other four guests all died. Only the boy was missing. What was even more strange was that more than 100 corpses disappeared from the cemetery near the villa, and according to the pastor, the pieces in the box were actually human eyelids. In other words, in order to increase the boy's psychic ability, the old man cut off more than 100 pieces of eyelids, causing that the dead could not rest in peace, and he carved symbols on each corpse to bind his soul, making them become the boy's guardian. Jack's mother was listening to him. She thought the pastor was talking nonsense and threw him out of the house, but soon the reality hit her hard. You can't imagine hundreds of bodies buried in the walls. Their eyelids were cut off and symbols were carved into their bodies. Their soul could not rest in peace. In order to trouble the owner of the house, Jack's mother just turned on the light. A ghost suddenly appeared in front of her eyes. Even the lights in the house flickered on and off. The whole family hugged each other in fear to keep warm. His mother believed there were ghosts in the house. She called the pastor to help her. The pastor held an iron tool, sensing the dead boy in the basement. Suddenly, all the doors started tapping. The reflection of a flock of crows appeared on the wall. The pastor felt his way around, finally finding the boy's ashes in the oven. When he took the ashes out of the villa, the house immediately regained its peace. It was supposed to be the end of the story, but then Jack woke up and found himself covered with marks. He was rushed to the hospital. Unexpectedly, the boy's ghost came with him, and this time he told the truth about his death. It turned out that when the boy was psychic, because the energy released was too powerful, all the people present were burned to death, including the old man who could control the spirits. Hence, the boy who could not calm the anger of the spirits was put into the incinerator and burned alive. And now the pastor took away the boy's ashes. The spirit's anger would not be suppressed. After Jack learned the truth, he took his axe and ran home. He drove all of his younger brothers and sisters out. He smashed the wall in the basement. Soon down scenes of corpses fell out. Jack turned to the other wall and smashed. Another down scene, bodies rolled down. The walls were all smashed. Hundreds of corpses hidden in the villa finally saw the light of day. Then Jack doused the bodies with gasoline, burning them all in a fire. By this time, his spirit had already united with the boy. The reason why he burned the bodies was not only to let them rest in peace, but also to let the boy pay for his mistakes. The spirits gathered around Jack, reaching out and putting their hands on his head. Finally, Jack was rescued from the fire. Just when everyone thought he was going to die, he suddenly exhaled black gas from his mouth and woke up. The pastor turned his head and saw the boy standing next to him. Maybe it was him who saved Jack's life, because after that day, Jack's cancer disappeared. He was miraculously healed.